Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture we are going to learn about if-else statement. So decision making is really important concept if you want to just navigate to the certain portion of a code, and if you want to execute that based on the condition that is to be satisfied. So let's see how this if-else work. So the basic condition over here is if certain condition is performed, or basically if the certain condition is true, then certain portion of the work or certain code will be executed, otherwise it won't work. So the flow will be going or navigated from one side to another based on that decision. So we have already learned how to make the logic, which is basically by the comparison operator. We have made the logic like 3 is greater than 5 if this is true, which is obviously false. This is false. That means we are making the condition over here. So if it is true, then certain portion will work. So something like if 3 is greater than 5, certain portion will be this portion, or this code will be executed, or this code will be executed, that is inside here, or this code will be executed. So something like this is the condition. If this is true, this portion of code will work. If 9 is greater than 0, if this is the condition, then this part of code will work, or this part of code will work. So this is basically your condition or decision making. So let's create one program to see if this if-else work in the Python or not. So first of all, let's see the syntax. So first of all, you see if, which is all in lowercase. So this is to start with the if condition, and you pass the condition inside this parenthesis. So I'll just say condition, and you give this colon here, and after that you pass the code that is to be executed inside here. Else, which is basically if this condition is false, else part will work. That means the code inside this else will work. So let's see the condition now, or basically let's create one program to see. So let's create a program to check if the number is positive or negative. So let's see that. So first of all, instead of just giving the number, let's see number and input that number from the user. So I'll say enter your number for the user, and this is the message for the user, and I'll just say enter this. And the next thing is to check. So I'll just say if number is, so if you see here in this input, you should get some idea that I have already told in the previous lecture, but I'll just put here unnoticed for you, because we'll see how this error will be executed, or basically how we'll get error from here in the minute. But let's make a condition right now. So okay, what I just did, so I'll just say number is greater than 0, which is basically the positive sense. We just get the condition that is positive. So I'll just say print number, or you can also format it. So I'll just say format is positive, and we know how to format using this format method. And I'll just pass here the number that is entered from the user. So let's close this print statement. Else, if it is the case which is the negative case, so I'll just say is negative, and let's format this string using the same number that is entered from the user. Let's see if this works or not. So you just get the basic idea. We are just making the condition here, taking the number from the user, and we are checking with this condition, which is the comparison operator, saying that if it is greater than 0, which is basically the positive number, we are formatting here that number is positive. Basically number is here value is positive, else value will be negative. A simple logic over here. Let's save this, but this is not going to work. So let's see how this is not going to work. So first of all, enter your number 76. If I say 76, press enter, it is saying this comparison operator is not supported between instances of string and integer. So what does that mean? Because you are seeing here that this part is getting error. Why that is getting the error? Because we are just comparing here the number which is a string with this 0. So I have already told you before that if you see, if you go over here and if you just input anything from the user, let me say the name or basically the age, okay, and if I say input and if I input something like 67, and if you see the type of this is, it is not going to be the integer, it is going to be the string. So what we just did here was we just compared the string, that is the number entered from the user, with the 0 which is the integer. So we cannot compare string with the integer, so we have to convert this string which is entered, but it will be entered as a number, but that will be converted to the string by this input method. So let's convert this first into the integer, which is by this int method. Let's convert it first and let's see if this works or not. So let's save this first, press F5. Now let's enter the number. Let's say negative of 2. Let's hit enter, and negative 2 is negative. Obviously it is negative. So let's do one more time. Let's save this, press F5. Let's see 6, which is positive. So 6 is positive. Let's save this again, press F5, and if I hit 0 again, it is saying 0 is negative. So 0 is not negative, okay. 0 is basically 0, it is the neutral number, but it is giving us 0 is negative. We have to have another condition now. So what we are doing here is we are just checking for the 0 if it is greater than 0 or if it is not, but we are not checking if it is equal to 0 or not. That means we have to put another condition over here, which can be done with this elif. It is different from other programming language, so normally we put here else if, but in the case of Python it should be elif, otherwise it is not going to be run. So let's pass elif, and now I'll say number that is entered from the user is equal 0. If it is the case, what you are going to do, it will print simply number is 0. No need to format. Let's save this, press F5. Let's see if this works. 8 is positive. Let's see, let's press F5, press 0 again, and number is 0 now. So we are just adding another condition to make the decisions. So if else statement is a conditional statement that is going to execute the part of a code based on the decisions or based on the conditions that it has met or not. If this part is true, this code will be executed. You can do different thing over here. You can print hey, you can print everything, anything will be executed over here. Anything you pass here will be executed. If I save this, press F5, if I just give the positive number, you can see the code inside that field has been executed. 6 is positive, cool, and everything has been printed. That means if this condition is met, this part of code will be executed, and all the part which is after this won't be executed, because it is just giving us the flow control based on these conditions. So this is the important conditional statement. In the next lecture we will learn about the looping, which is another flow control method. See you in the next one.